Excuses like, well, you can't show their faces so they don't want to be photographed. You can't go backstage because that's only for the performers. You're not a wildlife photojournalist, so you can't get access to these rhinos and the caretakers because you won't know how to approach it. You can't go out with the armed rangers at nighttime because it's too dangerous and we're worried about your safety. You can't photograph this guy because you're a foreigner in Bangladesh and the police are looking for him, so how are you going to find him? Oh, you can't document our subject on his way to the farm where he's going to be working all day in the morning because it's just too early. What? These are all excuses that amateur photographers would accept and a professional photographer would deny. But after today, no longer for you amateurs. I want to teach you guys how to take a professional's mindset into your amateur photography so you stop making excuses and start taking better images. So before we get into today's episode, I want to first thank my sponsor, a brand new sponsor for this channel. It's a very organic sponsor, something I've wanted, something I've denied other sponsors for because it didn't feel right. With these guys, it does feel right. So thank you to Printique. They're a fantastic, high quality and affordable printing service out of the US. I use them to fulfill all of my orders for my online print store. But even if you don't have an online print store, they're fantastic for just getting any of your work printed and shipped to your door efficiently and affordably. And I've used them for 5 years and I've not had one single complaint. Can't say that about too many other products or brands that I use. So thank you to Printique for sponsoring this episode and more on them later. So welcome amateurs and pros to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Justin Mott and this channel is dedicated to all things photography from the perspective of a true working professional photographer. So today I want to talk about excuses, and I hear all of them. I teach workshops, I teach one-on-one online coaching sessions, and people come into those sessions and what they think is a valid excuse, typically, in my opinion, as a pro, isn't. So I'd like to start by acknowledging, as an amateur photographer, I understand this is supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be a good time. You picked up photography maybe as a form of escapism, escaping your family for an afternoon, escaping your job for an afternoon, just going out there and being creative and having fun with it. I totally get that. However, there are a lot of you guys out there that come to me for my classes, that I meet in my workshops, that I see in the comment section on YouTube, who are stuck. You're stuck in a rut, and it's as simple as accepting these excuses that I'm going to talk about today. Once you stop accepting these excuses, once you start moving past these obstacles, you will improve. You're just going to have to trust me on that. So as a professional, I have my own roadblocks. I have my own excuses that I could adhere to. I have maybe an editor only wants to give me 2 days for an assignment, which really should take 4 days. Maybe I've got to do a portrait for someone for a profile story, and they only want to give me 15 minutes. Other office is really boring, but they don't want to go outside. Or I've got to do a travel story for 3 days in Laos, and the weather was crap. And those are just simple things that come up on normal assignments. I've thought all these things, but I don't accept them. I move past them. And I also have the extreme examples as well. Oh, we need you to get access to the illegal wildlife trade mafia and photograph behind the scenes of them selling rhino horn. You need to seek out this guy in Bangladesh who's starting an uproar with the workforce in the garment industry. And I'm a foreigner going to Bangladesh for the first time, and I've got to find a guy that the police are looking for. Yeah, not easy. Oh, you've got to photograph multi-drug resistant tuberculosis in a lab. And yeah, of course, if it's not good enough, you didn't get close enough, so put your life at risk for that shot for $250 a day. These things aren't magically given out to me, and at some points in my career, things are a little bit easier. Yes, when you say you're going to shoot something for the New York Times, maybe that opens up some doors, but sometimes that closes doors as well. And even later on in my career, I'm 45 now, but when I was 40, I started in wildlife photojournalism, and that was like starting over again. People didn't want to give me access. People said, where's your wildlife portfolio? You don't have any images. That community is all about trust, and I get it, and I understand why. And I didn't have any context to share. I didn't have anyone that would vouch for me. So I had to be persistent. I had to go out and get the work. I had to build slowly. All of these are excuses for me not to enter that world. All of these are excuses for me not to get good enough pictures. And you might say, well, yeah, you're getting paid to do it, so you have to do it. Well, the wildlife photojournalism stuff is my own money. It's my own passion. It's my own personal project. So I can fail. I just choose not to. But even still, you might say, well, yeah, you're at a high level though, Justin. You're a professional. Your name's on this. I see a lot of pros who do a lot of amateur type shoots. They put their name on it. It is easy to not give 100%. It is easy to accept these excuses. And then even early on in my career, before I got started, before I even knew I wanted to do this full time, That's the attitude, that's the approach that I took. I took it in all my jobs. So when I was wandering the streets of San Francisco, I was looking at other photographers' work, other street photography, and I was thinking like, all right, did that person give up? Did that person accept the bad light? Did that person not go out in good light? Did that person not go back the next day when they saw an opportunity for a good picture, but the light wasn't good or the right subject didn't pass through? Probably not. And how does all of this apply to you guys as amateurs? Certainly most of you out there aren't trying to get access to the illegal wildlife trade mafia or trying to find someone that the police are looking for in Bangladesh. I get that, but there's a level of this that applies to all amateurs. But before I talk about that, before I get into that, I just want to thank Printique for sponsoring this episode. They're a brand new sponsor of my channel. This is something new I'm trying out. I've had a lot of different companies come to me and offer to sponsor episodes. I don't like to do it if my heart's not in it. So I took a different approach and asked some companies that I use, that I have used at the core of my business as a photographer, and Printique is one of them. I've been using them for so many years to fulfill all my orders from my online print store. For those of you that are interested in selling prints of your own work, they integrate fantastic with Squarespace to fulfill your orders. They are affordable, but still deliver high quality, and the backend is super easy to use. As a photographer, like I've talked about, it's all about trust to get access. For me, as a photographer living in Vietnam and shipping to clients in the US, I can't do that here. It's so difficult to get the right printing here in Vietnam. It's even more complicated to export prints from Vietnam to the US. So I didn't do it for a long time. And then I discovered Printique, and then I started selling prints. I can't recommend them enough. The love I have for them is organic. So if you're interested not only in setting up an online print store, but any of your print needs, you want to print an album of your work, you want to give someone a print of your work, you want to print a picture of your dog, I'm doing a full episode on photographing your dog coming up soon, or you have an image or a few images that you've taken that you're proud of. I know you guys do, you've shared these with me. Print it. I don't know, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about it. I love them. So if you want to show me a little love, show them some love and use them for your next print order, and use the link in the description box below. Thank you, Printique. So now for you amateurs, I know a lot of you guys aren't facing the same sort of excuses, the same obstacles that I have to go through as a professional, but you are facing obstacles because I hear them all the time. They're pretty consistent. So let me come up with a couple hypotheticals. Let's just say like, oh, you want to do a story about something in your neighborhood, in your area, and like maybe you're interested in boxing, for example, and it's a cool boxing gym, but how do I get access to that? I'm not a professional. I can't go and say, I'm shooting this for the New York Times, so can I get access? It's just too weird. I don't know who to ask. I don't know what to say. No, you could just go do it. You just ask. Use what you do in your normal work to get access to things, to make things happen, or in your everyday life. Ask friends, network, put the call out there. I'm an amateur photographer, but I want to do a story about these people. I want to spend time with them. I want to get to know them. I want access to them. I want to be able to tell a photo story. So go in and talk to the manager. See if there's any athletes that might be willing to let you document them. Show them some of your past work. And then while you're shooting, show them what you're capturing to build on that trust, to build on that access, and to build on your overall story. It's not just limited to professional photographers' access to things. It's limited to people that don't ask for things and don't ask for access. Or even just every day going out and shooting street photography. I see people all the time like, oh, that person on the streets, they were so interesting. I love their outfit. I love the color of the light. I'm like, well, why didn't you go talk to them? Why didn't you take a street portrait of them? Oh, it's just weird. What do I say? How do I do it? You just ask. You have to come up with a system that works for you, of course. I just kind of go right into it. I just talk to people. I just say, hey, I find you interesting. I'm a photographer. No one's checking my resume. You just say you're a photographer. You don't have to say you're a pro photographer. You don't have to say you're affiliated with someone. I just say, I'm a photographer. You have a camera, you can make that claim. Say you're a photographer. I find you interesting. I'm not using this image commercially if you don't intend to. And just ask them, can I get 5 minutes? And maybe that grows into 10 minutes. Just ask. It's not like they're checking your resume. It's not like they're checking your credentials. Like, oh, Justin, yep, no, he's legit. Yeah, of course, yeah. You can spend as much time with me as you want. No, just ask. Another excuse I hear is, oh, I've only got like an hour a week to shoot, and how can I get anywhere with that? And the weather wasn't good on that day. BS. An hour's a lot of time to go get pictures. Of course, more is better. But if you just have an hour, plan properly, plan strategically, be effective. So look at the weather forecast for the week. Obviously, there's going to be better light early in the morning. So check, is it going to rain early in the morning? Can you go out and shoot before work? I know that might be a big ask for some of you out there, but if you start work at 8 or you work from your home office and you start your day at 9, maybe you can go out and shoot at 6. And just shoot from 6 to 7. Maybe you can go into work early and cut out early and go shoot at 5 o'clock, that last bit of sunset, so you get that nice light. And plan the right day. So if Tuesday is going to be bad weather, plan for Wednesday to go shoot. An hour is plenty of time and weather is not a valid excuse. Even for like little things like access a pro's mindset. Like when I'm shooting street photography, I'm shooting a travel story, I might be in like a busy area, right? And I say, oh, this would be a great overall if I could just get up in a building. I just go ask people. I know in the US it's tough with liabilities and things, but I always look at a balcony and I ask. I say, hey, I'm a photographer. I just want to get a quick picture. They only take 5 minutes of your time. I ask. And yeah, I get told no a lot. I mean, Vietnam, I get told no for different reasons than the US, but the excuses are everywhere. You've got to just fight them off. You've got to, in the moment, ask yourself, what would Justin do? Well, no, what would a professional do? And most of the time, we wouldn't accept whatever that obstacle is, whatever that excuse is, we wouldn't accept that. And neither should you. I'm not saying you have to risk your life. I'm not saying you have to dedicate as much time as I do to the craft, but you do have to earn it. You do have to put a little work in to get those better images. So if you're stuck in your photography, if you go out and shoot and you don't come back with good images, that's probably the reason why. You didn't get images because of you. I know that's harsh, that's tough, that's hard to hear. Most of the time, that's just the absolute truth. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm trying to give you some tough love because a lot of my students online in my one-on-one coaching, they need that tough love and it works. They come back because they're afraid of these excuses with me. I give them that accountability and they make it happen and it makes me so proud. And more importantly, it makes them better. So if you're interested in improving your photography, I do offer one-on-one coaching. I have a mentorship program. I've got people that sign up month to month. I have all sorts of different options on there, business advice, portfolio reviews. You can check all that out in the link below. Thank you again to Printique for sponsoring this episode. If you guys need stuff printed, use them. Trust me, you'll be happy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.